Did James Coley and the Georgia Bulldogs just hit the jackpot at wide receiver? That's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. Of course, they landed a giant commitment last night from Talon Taylor, one of the best wide receivers across the country. Of course, if you're a Dog Post member or if you are familiar with this channel, this is not a surprise to you. I told you that Georgia was trending heavily for him and have been for a while now. I thought he might go public with a commitment right after his official visit to Georgia. He didn't, but last night he finally did, becoming a public commitment for Kirby Smart and the Dogs. But no doubt about it, this guy's one of the best receivers in the country. I'm going to be breaking all that down. But first, just to let you know, if you don't know who he is, he's the number 9 wide receiver prospect. He's the number 50 overall prospect in the country out of Illinois. Big time prospect. I'm going to be breaking down why he could be a game-changing type of receiver and why Georgia may have hit the jackpot landing this big-time out-of-state commitment. I'm going to be talking about Georgia's wide receiver board, where they sit with some of their other wide receiver targets, and why this could be Georgia's best wide receiver class in several years. I'm going to talk about all that in this video. It's a jam-packed recruiting video for you. But first, collegebronze.com. You know I got to plug it. It is the #1 Bulldog statue on the market, and Father's Day is just in a few days. So if you don't have a gift, make sure you get it today. But it's perfect all year round for your front porch, your office, your pool, whatever you've got. This guy's going to look great in front of it. My 2-year-old loves it. Our dog loves it. It's the best looking statue on the market, and you can get a discount on it today. Promo code DOGPOST. You can read all the 5-star reviews and order your own in the description below. All the information is right below this video in the description, so make sure you check it out and get that discount. Don't miss out on the discount. Promo code DOGPOST, DAWGPOST. Get yours today. Okay, Talon Taylor. All right, let's talk about him real quick. First, let's talk about his recruitment. This is a guy that Brian McClendon offered last year. He was offered by Georgia on April 7th, 2023. This is not a guy that they offered this spring, right? This is not a guy they just found out about. They've liked him for a long, long time. Again, offered on April 7th. He took a visit to Georgia at the end of May last year, was back in Athens for a game day visit when they took on South Carolina in mid-September last year. He was back in Athens in late March of this spring, and that's where Georgia, I was told, took a commanding lead in his recruitment, blew him and his family away. They check all the boxes for him and his family. And of course, he took his official visit the weekend of May 31st, and we were told that several college staffs across the country were hoping he did not commit to Georgia and that staff, but I think he probably did silently. I don't know that 100%, but this is a guy that I've told y'all all about for a while now, a guy that was trending Georgia's way. Didn't play a ton last year. Let's see, I thought I had my notes in front of me, but I think he only played in like 8 games. I'm going to look up the story I have on Dog Post right now. I apologize. Again, I thought this was up, but again, while I look this up, he's 6'1", 175, fluid route runner, sure hands, big play ability. So he only caught 32 passes last year in 8 games, 512 yards, 6 touchdowns, but he's a twitchy athlete with good footwork. He can change directions. He can make a tough catch in traffic. He can leap, snatch the ball out of the air. He creates separation, identifies zone coverage well, can sit in the hole between defenders and make a play. He secures the ball, gets upfield. He's not a burner, but he's plenty fast, and he does show breakaway speed. But single coverage, this guy's a mismatch. He's again, a promising route runner. He can stretch the field vertically, sneak behind those defensive backs. He can win jump ball scenarios. He's not 6'3" or 6'4", but he plays the ball so well. He's got good body control. He kind of floats up in the air and hangs there a little bit. He can make a tough catch over a defender, but he's quick, shows good burst, excellent hands. He helps in the screen game, short passing game. But again, this is a guy that they've liked for a long, long time and continue to push for him. There's a reason he's a top 50 prospect in the country. His dad played running back at Iowa from 94 to 97, was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe his mom played softball at the collegiate level. So he is a tremendous athlete, multi-sport guy, and the athleticism is easy to see on the field. He's a fluid runner. He doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but when you pay close attention, it looks like he's playing it fast forward. But again, his ability to stop quickly and change directions and get open on his own really stands out. But he's a big play machine and a guy that checks just about every box. Again, he's not 6'3", 6'4", but that's okay because he's faster than normal receivers who are that size, if that makes sense. But the ball skills, the quickness, the burst, the acceleration, the hands, this guy really does have it all. And James Coley, a really good recruiter, knows what he's looking for, and he's looking for guys who can change the game. That's his motto. That's what he says at practice. Change the game, change the game, change the game. And this is a guy he thinks can do that. So absolutely big time commitment. And again, one that was expected if you're a Dog Post member or if you're familiar with this channel. That gives Georgia 2 wide receivers on the commit list. Thomas Blackshear is a low 4-star receiver athlete from Savannah that committed to Georgia this spring. Kind of plays the position like a running back, which is fine, but built well, 6'1", 200 pounds. Yards after catch guy, yards after contact guy. But they are still in the running for some of the top wide receiver prospects in the country. I want to talk about some of them briefly. CJ Wiley out of Milton. I've talked about him over and over and over again because he is a big deal. 6'4", 195, runs at 10.6 in the 100-meter, caught 68 passes for the Eagles last year, just under 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns in 15 games. More importantly, helped lead them to a 7A title, just under 22 yards a catch. He was in Athens for a big official visit last weekend. I think Georgia's the team to beat here. And this is a guy who could have 5 stars next to his name when it's all said and done. I don't see a weakness. When you turn on the film, he's just running by guys, a lot of verticals for easy touchdowns. But I've seen him play, I've seen him practice, and he can run a route. He can create separation on his own really well for, again, 6'4", 195. Those guys, it's a little tougher for them to have an extended route tree compared to the smaller, more explosive receivers. But he's explosive with that size, and he can run a route. And he's got great hands. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on who could be a top 5 receiver in the country when it's all said and done. Travis Smith Jr., a guy that I think has been trending Georgia's way for a long time now. I think this will come down to Georgia and Tennessee. He's going to make a decision. I believe it's July 13th. He's still got an official visit to Alabama and Tennessee set up, but he caught 53 passes last year, just under 900 yards, 11 touchdowns for Westlake High School. Long, athletic, 6'4", 195, with a muscular frame. Strong hands. He's the number 93 overall prospect in the country, number 11 wide receiver. So, Georgia's in the mix for some of the very best across the country, and they've got one of the best in the country already on board. They've got a promising athlete / wide receiver in Thomas Blackshear, but CJ Wiley and Travis Smith Jr. are definitely 2 guys to keep a close eye on. Derek Meadows is another guy. He was in Athens this past weekend for an official visit. If you don't know who he is, he's another top 10 wide receiver in the country. He plays out of Las Vegas Bishop Gorman High School, and I spoke with him after that visit and said, what really stood out? And he said the people. He said everyone's welcoming, everyone's friendly. He definitely got that Southern hospitality, which makes sense. If you're from Las Vegas, it's not the friendliest town, right? They don't have the happiest, friendliest people out there, and I get it. It's not one of those towns, right? If you've been out there, you might understand. It's fun, but it's not the most friendly. But he came to Athens and he said everyone was so nice and they welcomed me, and everyone was just so polite, and they explained the program, how I would fit there. But he said the people stood out the most, and I think that's going to keep Georgia in the mix, although I don't think they lead for him. I do think they made a big impression, but I'm going to have another big story on wide receivers over on Dog Post, and you can read all about Talon Taylor over there too. I've got an extended scouting report, what he brings to the table, his strengths, where he's ranked, and we've got highlights over there as well. So again, just played in 8 games last year, but the talent is easy to see. He's been tearing up the 7-on-7 circuit. Again, the way he can contort his body to make a catch, down the sidelines, with a guy on top of him and good coverage, he can still make a play. But, if he's in the slot and has some room to make a guy, or do some wiggling, right? And, run a creative route and get open on his own, he's going to be able to do that. And then he's going to take the ball and he's going to fly down the field. Again, I wouldn't say he's a burner and brings track speed, but he's very fast. He's plenty fast. But I just think we have to kind of stop saying that everyone's this elite track star burner type. But he is fast. He is explosive. He's got great hands. And I think in a way, Georgia may have hit the jackpot with him because he's an out-of-state guy that a lot of programs really wanted. I don't know how hard Ohio State pushed for him, but I do think he had an offer and they were a team in the mix. Michigan, Notre Dame, two programs that really wanted him, but Georgia checked all the boxes. He took multiple visits and they were able to win him over during his official visit. He's now publicly on the commit list. This is a big deal, and you can read more about him and other Georgia wide receiver targets over on Dog Post, because that's where the scoop is. Again, this is not a surprise to you. None of the other commitments have been a surprise to you. I told you Georgia was on a roll. I told you commits were coming, and they did. So if you want to stay up to date and kind of figure out things before they happen, make sure you're on Dog Post and make sure you are locked in on this channel, because I got you covered. I promise, I got you covered. Big time commitment last night. Talon Taylor committed to the Dogs, one of the best wide receivers in the country. Read more about him on Dog Post and get your Bulldog today. Promo code Dog Post. Don't forget it. All the information is in the description below. Hope you enjoyed this video, but I definitely want to see you over on the website. So see you there.